look at that cyber security issues, right? In the face of these fraud matters and all that, and so internet fraud and all that, we need to make sure that our system here in Ghana is also secure, so that when these youth are working, they are not attacked by any of these fraudsters to the extent that they begin to have issues with their work data and other information which may be taken away from the fraudsters. So they're taken away by the fraudsters, sorry. So the infrastructure is very, very necessary. Government has to make effort to ensure that these opportunities are there. I mean, it's all part of job creation, right? Especially when 1 million coders are trained later in the year. They will need not only jobs in Ghana, but jobs abroad.
Absolutely.
So some of these are remote jobs. So with good infrastructure in place, you'll be able to have a smooth opportunity to be able to undertake these jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I believe Abel will agree with whatever you have said.
Yes. Oh, you want me to go on? You said that if I agree, and I agree.
So we can move on. We can move on. Well, of course, President Mahama launches. I mean, just because you mentioned 1 million coder, the Coders Initiative, President Mahama yesterday launched this at with the Minister of Communications, and it was a great news. Maybe Abel, let me hear from you.
Yeah. So it fits into the point Michael was making. Aside the digital inclusion that the 1 million coders program is taking to achieve, and also to provide skills that are necessary for the current technologically advancing system that we are in. Once they are also done training, some of these coders, there are jobs that the jobs they'll be getting, most of the jobs will be remote in nature, even not outside Ghana, but even if within Ghana, someone can be in the Upper East region and can be working for a company that is based in Accra. So the nature of it also means that then government also have to significantly invest in infrastructure. And I think that if you hear from the minister so far on the conversation, infrastructure is something that government is seeking to do. Of course, centers like the Accra Digital Center, that was why they were created. And if something like that can be replicated across the 16 regions, then it helps, because anybody can can walk in to any of the centers and then make use of the facilities available in terms of internet, and sometimes even in terms of the office.
Right.
Because some people are operating from their single rooms. Sometimes the nature of your room, you can't even go online and things, live. I mean, you can't go online live. So you might need some space that has an office setup that you can go and use. And if you have to pay something small at the end of the month, you do. So investing in infrastructure for that particular purpose is very great. Right. And as for the 1 million coders program, I mean, as a country that is seeking to develop at a pace that is, you have other countries that have gone far ahead of you. You can't continue doing the old things if you want to catch up. Right. At least if you want to catch up, not to even move past them. So if you want to catch up, you must be very intentional about the skills that your next generation have. And, some of us, we've been fortunate to travel to some spaces. And when you get there, young people, the things they are learning, you, the adults, you don't have any idea, some of these things. Yes, and it's sometimes very troubling. So I was excited about the idea of including it within curriculum, not only university curriculum. So we saw some of the, university vice chancellors come through, but also into the senior high and eventually basic education curriculum. It's very important. In China and Japan, young people, right from age 4 or 5, are learning coding.
Yeah.
Here, we are talking about people of my age, 29, 30. We don't even know anything about some of those things. Some of us, we can't even use the computer. We can't use the laptop. We have challenges using all these things.
That's
and
true.
Yet we are in a technologically driven era. And so it's a very important program. Aside the sloganeering, if government sticks to the implementation timelines and plan and does it well, it will benefit the entire nation at large.
Absolutely. Yesterday, I raised a point about it. I mean, I commend the government for the initiative, and I think the minister is doing a good job. I've seen him speak on issues a few times. He seems to be doing a lot in that space already, and the launch of this one is also something very commendable. But I mean, I raised a concern here yesterday that the program is starting in just, I think, about 4 different parts of the country. I think is in Accra, is in Kumasi, Sunyani, and then Bolgatanga. But why are we not looking at decentralizing it so that we can get a lot more people? Because when I shared shared the flyer on my WhatsApp, I had a lot of people texting me and go like, "Is it online? Can I join?" and all of that. So why don't we try to create that environment around it?
Yeah, I think it's also a matter of the facilitators and the trainers, the numbers that we have. You understand? And coding, as much as you will want to have it as a course, must be very practical to the core. You can't teach people online when you don't even know what they are doing. So it has to be very practical, and that is why some regions have been selected as a pilot base. Don't forget that it is not just the 1 million target is not within a year, but within a year you are to train as much as possible.
Right.
The numbers so I'm thinking maybe government will be targeting around 250,000 every year. That is if it's to make the 1 million in 4 years. So
but I think the piloting is just for some 520 people.
Exactly. So it is to see how the program will run out. And sometimes when the first beneficiaries go through, then you can learn about some of the challenges and maybe based on the outcome of the first training, you can then also plan effectively for the next one. So I'm thinking that resource-wise, you can't do it across all the 16 regions or even the districts as a goal. But that is where we should aspire to reach.
Right.
In fact, the aspiration is that's why I said the aspiration is that it's going to be included in the curriculum, in the education curriculum. So that means you need more trainers at basic schools, at secondary schools, and at the university level to do that. And if you recall, I think the conversation is that it should be made at the university level, it should be made a requirement, just like the way we have some required courses at the universities that are taught to every student that enter the university.
Right.
So we'll eventually get there. But I think that for now, it's more like, even though it's been launched, it's more like a piloting base to see how the turnout will come out like.
Right. I hope that we're able to do a lot of things around that in the coming days.
Yeah.
Well, but let's move on. There are other stories, most of them centered around the Minister for Communications, but we will still talk about it anyway. This one says that there will be cheaper and enhanced data bundles on 5 holidays this year. What are your thoughts on that, Michael? These holiday bundles?
Yes. These holiday bundles are very, very innovative. It helps add to the goodness of having the opportunity to rest on a holiday. So it's a very, very good move by the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization. However, my only concern is that because it's a holiday and a lot of people are aware of the bundle, there's going to be a lot of subscription to it. And as the subscription keeps going on, some people are unable to plug onto it due to network challenges because the system gets slow. And even the internet itself on that network gets slow because of the of the large amount of subscriptions. So I hope that the minister can, continue to speak to the telcos to strengthen their systems for such days, especially, strengthen them especially for those holidays, so that we can all benefit from the bundles rightly and enjoy good internet connectivity as well.
Yeah, but interestingly, I have heard people say that it makes you spend too much time on your phone. In these times where people are cutting down social media use and all of that, because the data is cheap and you have very limited period to use it. Let's say maybe you have a day to finish, maybe some 10 gig or some 5 gig. Then it forces people to spend too much time on their phone.
Well, for some, they may be using their phone for only leisure activities. Others take advantage of these bundles to do business, right, throughout the day. They use advantage of these bundles to do business throughout the day, and they're able to make some good sales on their online businesses on the holiday, and also, and let's include those even doing the remote work. They are able to enjoy more data bundles to be able to engage their clients abroad for their remote jobs. So it's helpful for some. I agree. I mean, when you have 10 gigabytes to spend a day, you will be using your phone a lot. But at the same time, people are using it well, right? So I want to encourage everyone to take advantage of, social media opportunities to learn new skills and all that, so that they can set a target for themselves that every holiday I'm going to be studying a new course. You go on YouTube, there's a 3-hour, 4-hour course on graphic design or something. You follow it. By the time the 5 holidays will be up, you would have built some skill base, right? You shouldn't just use it for TikTok scrolling, or Facebook or Twitter or anywhere. Let's all use it well, so we can benefit at the end of the day. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me hear from Abel. Abel, this last story, and maybe that will be the last we'll do before we go. It says that Chief Justice launches reforms to boost jury system efficiency. The Chief Justice, Gertrude Rabbi Sabatokunu, has launched major reforms to improve the efficiency of Ghana's jury system as the 2025 criminal assizes officially opened across the country. Speaking at the opening ceremony held at the Law Complex in Accra, the Chief Justice announced that the list of eligible jurors has been greatly expanded to include a wider group of Ghanaians, especially from the private sector. It says that over the years, and strangely, the justice system seems to have become constrained only to a small pool from which jurors were chosen. This pool seems to have become confined to clerical staff in the civil and public service institutions, and in a few instances, officers from the education system. She noted that this practice had led to some jurors serving in several trials over many years, turning them into almost professional jurors, and not the lay group with fresh exposure to legalities that they were needed to be. Abel, maybe your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's like she herself acknowledged yesterday. It's been long overdue. I don't know why we kept that particular practice for a long time. The jury is supposed to come from the wider citizenry, and depending on the nature of a case, the selection can include a lot of people from various backgrounds that will bring their understanding and the needed experience to bear on a case. But if you limit it to a particular group of people, at a point I felt that, the first time I read about this particular issue, I was like, what about, even though those in the civil service and maybe by and large the public service, the thinking is that they are educated and then they will make well-informed decisions. But the understanding that some of these issues are supposed to bring is beyond their education.
Right.
But also personal experience, common understanding of some practical issues on the ground. And if not for anything, we've watched, a lot of movies on some of these legal matters. Not only movies, but you read across board stories from the U.S. where it's widely practiced, the U.K. and all that. And sometimes you get a balance in, the background of able to reach very far-reaching conclusions of a matter that, given to professional people, they might not even do so. At the end of the day, to determine whether somebody is guilty or not, it's not even the responsibility of the jury. At the end of the day, it is the case that goes before the court and how that case is argued out. The jury's responsibility is to listen attentively and make a determination of the presentation of facts before them. So limiting it to, a small group of people, for me, in fact, in the first place, this is to become a corrupt avenue. Because if you have a smaller pool of jury, it becomes easy to influence the people. You understand?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, every case that goes to the court, they know that, these are the particular group of people we are likely to encounter. So it is easy for the lawyers involved in a case to do sampling and so I don't want to go into those nitty-gritties, but it's very important that we've reached this particular system. A country is not built in a day. It takes a while, and our democracy, even though we are 68 years, is relatively a 3-decade consistent one.
Right.
So we'll pat ourselves on the back and then urge that there's more room for improvement, that we can continue to do better.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Let me hear from Michael finally, and then we can go in some 30 seconds.
I share in what my brother said, and I don't have too much to add, but all I want to say is I'm very, very happy about this move by our dear Chief Justice, our current Chief Justice, to open up the jury system, right? To go a long way to benefit our justice system for many years to come. So all those who are eligible to apply or who have already applied, kudos to them. Those looking for the opportunity to apply should do so that we can have a system that accommodates as much experience as possible for the legal development in this country.
Right.
So yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for speaking to me this morning. I'm super, super grateful for your time. Maybe just before we go, there's just one more story I'd want you to comment on before we go, and it's on City Newsroom. It says that the judiciary must resist attempts to remove the Chief Justice, and that is coming from Afenyo Marking. Abel, what are your thoughts on that one?
I don't even understand this. A process has been triggered. You see, we are in democracy, and we must allow things to go through the process. He Afenyo himself, when the Speaker did, in the 8th Parliament, when the Speaker of Parliament took a decision that he was not happy, he ran to court, and at the end of the day, he wasted everybody's time on a matter that could have been easily resolved in the House. These matters cannot be resolved in the media. And sometimes I think that our politicians should know better. These discussions, if they want them resolved well, must be done behind the scenes. But so far as this process has been triggered, they will have to go to the very core. Because if the president suspends this process, then what does it say about the head of the judiciary? Will the citizens have confidence in the judiciary? No. So the process must go through to the end. And if the Chief Justice is clean, she'll come out clean. And once she come out clean from that particular process, then confidence
is restored
in the system will also be enhanced. Citizens will say, oh, yeah, they brought allegations against her. All those allegations, nothing was true. But if you suspend the process because you want to maybe massage the ego of the political class, then the citizens will say, when it gets to certain issues, the political class have a way of dealing with it. So then, going forward, when it gets to certain issues, then the citizenry must also find a way of dealing with certain issues. And that will not be good for our democracy. The preaching by Asenio marking for a particular treatment for the political class is not good for our democracy. And I think that people must begin to understand that this democracy is for everybody. The 1992 Constitution is no respecter of persons. It's for every Ghanaian. And so once you are a Ghanaian and there's a particular issue and it comes up, you must go through the process.
Right. Mike, you have something to add?
Well, just like my brother said, the process has to be seen through before, any, so that we see the end of how things go. It doesn't lie in the mouth of the honorable member of parliament. He's also a lawyer. He should know the constitution, and he should know the positive decisions going forward, right? So, very, very, very important that we see the process through as it has been started to get to the end, and then we see where we go from here. Yeah.
But Ralph, in any case, just a minute.
Go ahead.
In any case, why is it that the minority wants to reprobate and approbate? When the Attorney General was entering nolle prosequi for some cases, the minority went against it. They said, no, they must allow the process, that the Attorney General should have allowed the processes to go through to the end and let the court determine the matters. This is a particular matter that has been triggered. It's a constitutional matter. Article 146, right, Michael? 146,
yes, right?
Yes. When it has been triggered, the process has gone through, the Chief Justice has written her response. Whether a prima facie case has been established or not, we don't know. I think that response is to be shared with the Council of State. The Council of State will determine that it's a constitutional matter. You're asking the President to suspend a constitutional matter. But when the Attorney General, using his constitutional rights, entered a nolle prosequi to end some cases, you said, hell no. We must go through the process. So why can't this process be allowed for everyone to go through?
Right. All right. We'll continue to monitor those conversations, and then we continue to share our thoughts. But gentlemen, thank you very much for making time to speak to me today. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Abel and Solomina Modiok is a governance and policy strategist. Michael Akpene Afolabi is a news review pundit here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. And these gentlemen helped me break down the headlines this morning. Please stay tuned. Up next is Business News with Samuela Entry.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Good morning and welcome to the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. I am Samuela Inchi. Coming up shortly in the headlines, the Agricultural Development Bank joins PAPSS to simplify cross-border payments across Africa. Also, tariff increases will cripple businesses, says Guta. Tariff hikes linked to IMF deal, says Finance Minister Atuforsin. The Agricultural Development Bank ADB PLC has joined the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System PAPSS to simplify and accelerate cross-border payments across the continent. With this new partnership, individuals and businesses can now send and receive money instantly to countries like Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone right from any ADB branch in Ghana. The system operates in real time, cuts out currency conversions, and reduces high transaction cost. Speaking at the launch of the service, Managing Director of ADB, Edward Atusapom, said the bank remains committed to leveraging digital innovation to advance regional economic growth. He described the PAPSS integration as a major milestone in ADB's digital transformation journey. Mr. Sarpong noted that this move aligns with the African Continental Free Trade Area agenda and will promote financial inclusion while supporting intra-African trade. He added that with ADB's vast network across Ghana, the bank is well positioned to facilitate seamless payment and help businesses take advantage of this revolutionary platform. PAPSS enables users to make cross-border transactions in local currencies, removing the need for complicated currency exchanges and heavy charges. Businesses are encouraged to adopt the system to enhance efficiency, competitiveness, and regional trade. In other news, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has slammed the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, over recent hikes in utility tariffs, describing the decision as insensitive and harmful to businesses already grappling with economic challenges. This comes after the PURC announced a 14.75% increase in electricity tariffs and a 4.02% rise in water charges set to take effect from May 3, 2025. In a statement signed by GUTA's General Secretary Alpha A. Shaban, the association rejected the PURC's justification, citing exchange rate, inflation projections, fuel cost and power generation challenges as unconvincing. GUTA maintains that the burden of inefficiencies within utility companies should not be shifted onto consumers. The group says the Electricity Company of Ghana and Ghana Water Limited should rather address internal waste and mismanagement. GUTA also took a swipe at the wider public sector, alleging widespread corruption and misuse of state resources. The association called on government to crack down on the theft, diversion and misappropriation of funds and to recover stolen assets. The Traders Union is warning that the new tariff adjustment could cripple many businesses and worsen the cost of living for ordinary Ghanaians. Water tariffs are part of Ghana's obligations under its program with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission recently announced a 14.75% increase in electricity tariffs and a 4.02% rise in water charges effective May 3, 2025. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, Dr. Attoforsen explained that the adjustments were crucial to unlocking the next $370 million tranche from the IMF. He said the quarterly tariff reviews, as agreed in the program's third review, were long overdue and necessary for the program's success. The minister also dismissed reports suggesting a possible renegotiation of Ghana's deal with the IMF. He emphasized that the government remains fully committed to the implementation of the program and is focused on meeting its structural and fiscal targets. Dr. Forsen acknowledged that some benchmarks were missed under the previous administration, but reassured the public that the current government is determined to stay on course. And that'll be all for the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. Let's take a recap of the headlines, our top stories for today. ADB joins PAPSS to simplify cross-border payments across Africa. Also, tariff increases will cripple businesses, says GUTA. Tariff hikes linked to IMF deal, says Finance Minister Attoforsen. You can visit www.zmultimedia.com for more business news. You can also follow Zed Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. I am Samuela Inchi. Thanks for listening. Up next is Sports Flash with Lukeman Evergreen Women.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
Got
that show! Oh wow! Oh wow! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Metzer, this is positive. Williams!
Kudos! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, kudos.
Set back for Partey. Oh yes, Thomas Partey!
Oh yes, Thomas Partey. Yes, yesterday Thomas Partey was in full action for Arsenal in the UEFA Champions League against Real Madrid. Well, welcome to Sports Flash. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moomin, and you are listening to Business Breakfast on Zed. The remontada was not to be as Arsenal turned Real Madrid's comeback to go home. Now it's all set in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. Meanwhile, in the Ghana Premier League, Accra Lions produced the biggest upset of the week, and two more teams have made it to the playoffs of the National Basketball Association, that is the NBA. Accra Lions humbled Kumasi Asante Kotoko at the Accra Sports Stadium after thumping the Porcupine Warriors by 3-0. Midfielder Jacob Awute opened the scoring for Accra Lions before Iyao Sokoli doubled the advantage in the first half. David Akintunde sealed the victory for Accra Lions with the third in the second half. Now, Kumasi Asante Kotoko's sworn rivals Accra House of Oak could not take advantage of the slip as they lost 2-0 to Adriana Stars in Doma. Heart of Lions defeated Mediama SC by 1-0 in Kpando. Karela United lost 2-0 to FC Samatex in Samaboy, and Baseke Holy Stars bounced back from their loss to Accra Lions at the weekend to beat Vision F by 2-1 in Winchi. Dreams FC lost on the road to Nations FC, while BBN Gold Stars go top of the table after traveling to the Nana Fosu Jebo Park to beat Bechim United by 2-0. Away from the Ghana Premier League, Minister for Sports and Recreation Kofi Adams has dismissed claims that he is withholding the budget for Ghana's World Cup qualifiers against Chad and Madagascar played in March. The issue has drawn public interest following President John Mahamed's State of the Nation address in February, where he called for transparency in government expenditure on national team. However, more than 3 weeks after the games, the ministry has yet to publish details of the budget.
I will make it back. Why? As national team cease playing. No, we have next assignment. In September, we are going to play. We have matches that we are going to play that the nation will be called up finance. Who surely will make it public. And I'm saying, but who says that this one will not be public? I'm saying it will be public. And I'm saying that we have a match in September. When the FA presents, because they have to do the draft and bring, then I will sit and say, no, this one and this one, I don't think that it should be in. We cannot be paying for this. Then they will go back and bring a revised draft, which then you will take to either the chief of staff or to cabinet for discussion and approval. Once it's approved, then you can now make it public.
Well, we are all waiting for the budget to be made public. But then, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Edwin Simeon Okreku, has disclosed a $100,000 investment into coast football as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen grassroots football in the country. The funding, which falls under the FIFA Forward program, is aimed at supporting coast teams across Ghana by supplying footballs and providing other essential needs critical to youth football development. Now to Ghanaian players abroad, Liverpool manager Arne Slot claims Mohamed Kudus will easily make any team's starting 11, including his own side, after his spectacular performance for West Ham in the English Premier League last Sunday. Although Kudus did not score or assist in that game, the West Ham star caused a lot of problems for Liverpool as they almost left Anfield with a point. A last-minute goal from Virgil van Dijk secured the win for the Reds.
I can name one or two players that could have easily played with us today as well in terms of quality. So that is where the Premier League is about. And they use them more and more in the second half, these two quality players, and they have more, but I think Paqueta and Kudus were outstanding today, especially second half. And maybe because we were 1-0 up and we conceded one or two chances, it led to a situation where we were a bit too afraid or didn't press hard enough anymore. It's them taking more and more risk
Well, that was Ancelot speaking about Mohamed Kudus. But then, to a very sad news, Gabon international Aaron Bupenza has died at the age of 28 after reportedly falling from a building in China. The forward featured for his country at the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon and won a total of 35 caps for the Panthers. He had joined Chinese club Zhejiang FC based in the city of Guangzhou from Romanian club Rapid Bucharest in January. Gabon's Football Federation announced the news on their social media platforms. Away from that, we move to Europe, where there were games in the UEFA Champions League. Now, Bukayo Saka scored a goal and missed a penalty as Arsenal held off Real Madrid to reach the Champions League semi-finals in an incident-packed match at the Bernabeu. The Gunners defeated the European champions 2-1 after Gabriel Martinelli scored a late winner following Vini Jr.'s equalizer. Now, here is an excited Saka after the game. Remember, Saka produced a moment which was reminiscent to what Thierry Henry did 16 years ago when the two sides met.
I just wanted to have my own moment, but of course he's done the same here, so it's nice that we can both share this picture, and yeah, it's nice.
Well, so that was Bukayo Saka speaking after the 2-1 win in that game against Real Madrid. Meanwhile, Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti has expressed disappointment after the defeat at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Sad, of course. We are out of this competition. That was really important. But to analyze, we want to analyze the both game. We tried to put more pressure on this game. It was difficult because I think Arsenal defended really well. They were really compact as they are used to be. The team is really strong, above all defensively. To be honest, they deserve to win this qualification, and I hope for them the best.
Well, so that was Carlo Ancelotti speaking after the defeat to Arsenal. Now, Inter Milan booked their place in the last four with a thrilling 2-2 draw against Bayern Munich at San Siro Stadium. Harry Kane had opened the scoring for Bayern Munich to level the tie, but the Italians responded with two quick goals from Lautaro Martinez and Benjamin Pavard before the late equalizer from Eric Dyer. Now, here is Inter Milan midfielder Marcos Thuram. Here, he actually spoke after that game in San Siro.
Well, I think Bayern had a very aggressive style of playing. I think they were pressuring us man against man the whole pitch. So I think we're struggling a bit to develop our game, and yeah, I think we consider more than often. It is true. Well, it's very, very nice to play alongside him. He's a great striker. We complete each other very well, and it's true that when games are tough like this, we need to play together and we need to play in symbiosis together, and that's what we're trying to do. Well, we are competing on every three tables. We're gonna try and do our best, and we're gonna take games after games, and hopefully we can reach the end.
Well, so that was Marcos Thuram. Now, this is how the semi-final fixtures will be looking like. Arsenal will face French champions Paris Saint-Germain in the semi-finals, while Inter Milan takes on FC Barcelona. Away from the UEFA Champions League to some Europa League news, Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana will be recalled for his size Europa League quarter-final second leg against Lyon, says manager Ruben Amorim. Lyon traveled to England after a 2-2 draw in the first leg. Meanwhile, Tottenham Hotspur will be in Germany to face Eintracht Frankfurt. Atletico Bilbao will welcome Rangers to Spain, with Bodo Glimt traveling to Italy to face Lazio. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca has urged fans of the club to trust him and says the team is improving under his leadership. The Italian saw his team jeered by some fans while they were losing at home to Ipswich Town on Sunday in a game where they eventually came back to draw 2-2. Meanwhile, there was an outstanding English Premier League game played last night. Newcastle United rode to third place in the Premier League and a step closer to Champions League qualification with a crashing 5-0 victory over Crystal Palace at the St. James's Park. Away from football to the NBA, and the Dallas Mavericks and Miami Heat have progressed to the playoffs of the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks defeated the Sacramento Kings 120 to 106, with the Miami Heat also defeating the Chicago Bulls 109 to 90. That will be all for sports this morning. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Business Breakfast on Zed continues with Need Trevi Hammond.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Dream home. No interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estate's exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest repayment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5040 or 020-141-8622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. TNC Supply. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
What can wash away your sins? What is it that can actually wash the sins of the world? Is it the parables of Jesus? Is it the stories of Jesus? No, it is the blood of Jesus that was shed for us on Calvary's cross.
Experience the life-changing message of the cross, the miraculous touch of God, and the greatest demonstration of love the world has ever known. Join Evangelist Doug Haywood Mills for the Good Friday Miracle Service 2025, a time of miracles, healing, and salvation. It's happening at the Independence Square, Accra, on Friday the 18th of April 2025 at 3 p.m. Bring the sick, bring the broken, bring the lost, because Jesus still saves, heals, and delivers. Come expectant, come believing, and witness the power of Jesus Christ. Don't miss this historic gathering, Friday the 18th of April 2025, 3 p.m. at the Independence Square, Accra. A divine appointment awaits you. See you there.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Right, 7:30 here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. Or earlier you heard there Samuela Inchi with the business news and also Lukman Evergreen Moomin with Sports Flash. Right about now, we're getting into our business brief conversation this morning. It's not a conversation, maybe my presentation really. All right, so stay tuned. I'm bringing you that right away. Stay tuned. right. Thank you very much for staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Well, today on Business Brief, I'm sharing something very, very important as usual. You know, there's something I've been reflecting on lately, and it's a fact that we live in a world that is bursting with ideas, information, and innovation, and we somehow find ourselves starving for death. That is a reality. Now, everyone is scrolling, everyone is scanning, but very few of us are actually reading, really reading. And I get it. The pressure is on. As business people, you have deadlines to meet, investor calls, pitch decks, metrics, team meetings, product testing. I know it's a constant grind. And in fact, the average business leader today makes up to 70 decisions daily. That is what stats say. Each of them with a ripple effect. So when someone suggests picking up a book, the first thought is often, with what time? Yes, I know we all ask that. I don't have time to read. But here's a question that keeps nudging me. What if the very thing we think we don't have time for is the one thing that can take our leadership, our thinking, and even our profits to the next level? Maybe I should repeat that. I'm asking that what if the very thing we think we don't have time for is the one thing that can take our leadership, our thinking, and even our profits to the next level? Because here's the truth. Reading isn't just a nice habit. I believe it's a strategic tool, a competitive advantage, and a discipline that doesn't just keep you informed. It makes you wise. Exactly, because you get to tap from the ideas of several people. Because the number of books you read determines the kind of information, the kind of knowledge that you have. Now, let's look at the facts. According to a study by Pew Research Center, only 23% of adults read one book in the past year related to personal development or business. Only 23% of adults read one book in the past year related to personal development or business. And that's not even one book every quarter. Meanwhile, a report by McKinsey highlights that CEOs who actively read and engage with books on leadership, strategy, and human behavior are better positioned to handle crisis, pivot quickly, and inspire innovation. In short, readers lead better. Still not convinced? Well, let's take a closer look at a real-world example. Now, Barack Obama, regardless of where you stand politically, there is something fascinating about his leadership approach. Throughout his presidency, and even more so afterward, he often credited his ability to empathize, to reflect, and to make difficult decisions to the fact that he was a voracious reader. Fiction, biographies, policy books, you name it. He once said that reading is a gateway skill that makes all other learning possible. Reading is a gateway skill that makes all other learning possible. Or take Phil Knight, the co-founder of Nike. In his memoir, Shoe Dog, Knight reveals that he had a personal library so valuable to his thinking that guests weren't even allowed to borrow books without signing them out. He read obsessive. Crown jewel case study, Warren Buffett. Now, we all know him as the Oracle of Omaha, but his real secret is much quieter. Buffett estimates that 80% of his working day is spent reading. 80% is spent reading. Not gossip, not news headlines, but company reports, biographies, journals, books. These are the things that he reads. In his own words, he says that is how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. That phrase, compound interest, is really, really powerful, because that's exactly ask better questions, challenge old assumptions, spot patterns, make sharper decisions, build a sharper mind. It's not about becoming a bookworm. That is not what we are. That's not what I'm saying this morning. It's just about becoming a more complete version of yourself. Now let's come down to brass tacks. If we know reading is this powerful, why don't more of us do it regularly? We all know it is powerful, but why don't we do it more regularly? Well, here's what the research and real life interviews tell us. Lack of time. Now, according to a 2023 report by World Economic Forum, the average professional spends 11.2 hours per day consuming digital content, mostly fragmented, shallow, and unstructured. We are busy, but not always productive. And that is a reality. Also, MIT research shows that the brain is now rewiring itself to prefer shorter bursts of information like tweets, headlines, TikTok, over longer sustained attention. So essentially, we are training ourselves to skim and not to dive. And that's as a result of a digital overload. And also, there is no system in place. That's also another reason. It says that we treat reading like an optional luxury instead of embedding it into our routine as a professional ritual. When was the last time reading time made it into your Google Calendar? That is for you to think about. And also, for leaders especially, if there's no immediate value or return, it's easy to skip things. Yeah, I know you're an investor, you're listening to me this morning. It's easy to skip things because it's not giving you money. It's not giving you some value. But that is like skipping compound interest that's like skipping compound interest because you can't see the wealth in 1 week. So how do we reclaim reading in our lives? Not as another thing to feel guilty about, but as a joy, a tool, a reading that makes us more powerful. And that's exactly what today's roundtable is going to be about. We'll unpack questions like how busy professionals can realistically cultivate the habits of reading, what reading habits separate average thinkers from visionary leaders, how do we curate reading lists, a whole lot of other things we're going to talk about. We'll share personal routines, real frameworks, and stories from leaders who built billion-dollar ideas, not from endless meetings, but from insights gained while reading the right words at the right time. And so it's not going to be a motivational chat, it's going to be a blueprint. So whether you are leading a startup, you're investing in ideas, you're scaling a product, or rethinking a personal edge, the habit of reading might be your most underutilized asset. So just before we get into the conversation later, maybe you should think about this once. What's a one book that changed how you think? Now imagine if reading like that became a part of your life. Not once a year, but every week. Let's turn the page. Let's restart the habits. Let's read on purpose and with purpose. See you at the roundtable. That will be all for Business Brief this morning on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Thank you very much for making time to listen to this one. We're getting into transport today right about now. And Solomon Tetenati tells us the flight schedules as well as the traffic situation in town. Stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff.
All right, 20 to the top of the hour. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. Now time for us to get into transport today. Solomon Tetenate is seated to give us all the details today. Solomon, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
How are you?
By the grace, I'm doing well.
You're in white today?
Yes. Yesterday I was in white and today
and today too. What do you So Jesus Christ is dying tomorrow.
You know, right?
I mean, not exactly, but we're trying to remember his death tomorrow. Exactly. But anyway, tell us, what are the flight schedules for today and also what's the traffic situation in town?
All right, so let me start with the flight schedule. So we are looking at the local flights. Can Air Accra to Kumasi. The morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedule is 7:20 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination for Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Passion Air Accra to Takoradi, the morning schedule is 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:20 p.m. and there's no evening schedule for Passion Air Accra to Takoradi. It takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. And then Accra to Sunyani Passion Air, it has only one flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. and then it takes 1 hour to get to your destination, Accra to Sunyani. And then Accra to Wa Passion Air, it has only one flight available for the day at 9:50 a.m. and it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale Passion Air Accra to Tamale. The morning schedule is 6 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. It takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. So that's the flight schedules for Passion Air. Let's look at Africa World Airlines. The flight schedules for Accra to Kumasi, Africa World Airlines. The morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m., 9:40 a.m. and 11 a.m. So we have 4 flights available this morning: 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m., 9:40 a.m. and 11 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 1:20 p.m., 2:10 p.m. and 3:10 p.m. and then the evening schedule is 7 p.m. So we have 4 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and then 1 available in the evening, and that's Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi, the morning schedule is 7:10 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. So there's no evening flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale. The morning schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. There's no evening flight for Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines. It takes 1 hour to get to your destination. So that's the flight schedules for Africa World Airlines and then Passion Air. Let's look at the traffic situation in town. Today is 7:45 and let's look at how the traffic looks like in the city of Accra. So starting from Teshi Nungwa Road, so right at where Malik Taxi Rank is, or where Teshi Mobile is situated, is a bit busy over there. It's a smooth traffic but a bit busy, so if you are using the Teshi Road, you should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation over there. And also on the same Teshi Road, next door Beach Resort is also building up at the moment, heading towards the military shooting range. Is building up at the moment. And also when you get to Goyle Fuel Station, Pishi is also busy at the moment at that area, heading towards Laboma Beach is very busy at the moment on the Teshi Road, so you should take note of that. But after that area is the movement is free from Polo Beach Club. If you're heading towards the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, there's no traffic over there, so we should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation on the Teshi Road. Let's look at the main road from Medina. So currently from Zongo Junction to Atomic Junction is free. There's no traffic over there. So if you are coming from Medina, there's no traffic over there. But when you get to the Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, that's Presec, there's traffic over there all the way to IPS Junction, or what we call UPS Junction right now. And so that's the traffic situation over there. But after that, right from the UPS Junction all the way to Legon City Mall is free, past where the University Hospital is situated, or where the police what do you call it, where the police station, the police station is situated, is free, all the way to Opongulu is free. So you should take note of that. So there's no traffic right from UPS Junction to Opongulu. If you are using that route, you are good to go. And also there's traffic building up at Polo Heights. If you are heading towards 37 Military Hospital, Polo Heights, the traffic is building up slowly. So you should take note of that. It's too early, so it might get busy any moment from now. Also, Airport Bypass Road is also busy at the moment. If you are using the Airport Bypass Road heading towards the Polo View apartment, is busy at the moment. So you should take note of that also. And then 37 Military Hospital to Jubilee House is building up at the moment. 37 Military Hospital to Jubilee House is building up, so you should also take note of that. Independence Avenue is also building up from the National Insurance Commission all the way to MTN Ghana is building up at the moment. So it's a smooth traffic. You can maneuver your way out if you are using that route. So that's the traffic situation over there currently. So that will be the all for the traffic situation. Let's look at what is trending in the aviation sector. So over 11,000 flights scheduled at UK airport this Easter weekend. So this weekend is set to be a busy one for airports in the UK, with both the Friday and the following Monday being taken as a public holidays in conjunction with the country's Easter celebration. So according to the current scheduling data made available by Cirium, Cirium is an aviation analytics company. So according to their data, more than 11,000 flights are set to depart from airports in the UK between Friday 18th April and Monday April 21. So that's an information released by the Cirium. That's an analytical company, aviation analytical company. So this is going to offer more than 2.06 million seats at an average of almost 183 per departure, and a hoping combined figure of more than 3.1 billion available seat miles. So according to them, these are the data made available during this. These are the data made available during this Easter. So looking at the data, the airports in UK are going to be very busy this time. But for our information, this is not the busiest Easter break during the UK. So in 2019, there was 743 departure or flights made available in 2019. So 2019 was the biggest. That's the highest. So looking at comparing 2019 to this year, there's been a fall of 4%. So this is not the first time that UK airports are going to be very busy.
But it's usually busy around Easter.
Exactly. But compared it to last year, there's been an up by a factor of 6% year on year during the Easter celebration or Easter holidays. So these are the information made available by the Cirium. That's an aviation analytical company.
Okay, thank you very much, Solomon Tetenate, for bringing us all of that. We're grateful. Well, the show continues. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, the show continues.
101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Wonderful man, he calls us to be his friends, to commune with him, to partake of his strength. So we will love him, we will love him, we will love him, we will love him. Jesus is the light of the world, resurrection and life, his salvation for the and the rest for the worry. Such a wonderful man, he calls us to be his friends, to commune with him, to partake of his strength. So we will love him, we will love him, we will love him, we will love him.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
this God whom we serve, He never lies, He never fails. He sees what you cannot see, He knows what you do not know, and He says His plans for you are for a future and a hope. So hold on fast, don't let the devil lie to you. Remember, God loves you, and He wants the best for you. So hold on fast, don't let the devil lie to you. Remember, God loves you, and He wants the best for you. Minianum wo Christo mo, senso shebe tu, na eye wo se onyame ni wafa. Wafa komchi ne Bible, nansu dodo ubo paino, na how ni so sheno ya do supra. Na unim ni awon fafa. Sutie maseni, o inkesia yesumdie, o ye no kwafo nyami. O nya wutumi, o ye chira po nyami, wa ye shishe bia mawu, ebe mawu sitina ba, linti soni mo ye, emo bonsam dadawo, if he say nyami dowo, na open ye ye mawu. Inti soni moye, emo bonsam dadawo. If he say nyami dowo, na open ye ye mao. Trials stack on every land, and we cannot understand all the way that God will lead us to that blessed promised land.
All right, Venice Fair. Hold on, bringing us to 1 after 8. This is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. There's something about this particular song. It never gets old. Well, of course, it's Throwback Thursday, and that's why we're giving you back to back. He says that hold on fast. Don't let the devil lie to you. Remember, God loves you and He wants the best for you. What a motivation. All right, this Good Friday, a divine appointment awaits you. It's a Good Friday Miracle Service 2025. So you want to join Evangelist Doug Heward Mills. There's going to be a time of miracles, healing, and salvation. So experience the life-changing message of the cross, the miraculous touch of God, and the greatest demonstration of love the world has ever known. It is happening tomorrow at the Independence Square, Accra, Friday 18, 2025. April 18, 2025. Exactly 3 p.m. So bring the sick, bring the broken, bring the lost, because Jesus still saves. He still heals and delivers. So come expectant, come believing, and witness the power of Jesus Christ. You don't want to miss this historic event. April 18, 2025, tomorrow at exactly 3 p.m. at the Independence Square. It's a Good Friday Miracle Service 2025. See you there. All right, dream home, no interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? Well, Lakeside Estates has got you covered. They've got an exclusive offer for you, and you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. And guess what? This offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. You also get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of the Lakeside Hills clusters. So your future awaits. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. So as your CMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. So all you have to do is to call us today on 020-477-5042. Zero 020-477-5042 or 020-477-5040 or 050-1418-622 050-1418-622. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estate, quality home for all.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
All right, we've got a lot of things in store for you this morning. It's going to be fantastic. From now till we end the show this morning, it's going to be back-to-back conversations. So enjoy the spot of music again, and when I return, we have more conversations.
Business radio.
Well, welcome to the market trends conversation this morning. And today I'm giving you a monologue. All right. Today I'm talking to you alone. And these are things that I want to share with you. And, you know, yesterday we started a conversation on the IMF, the IMF fourth review that happened. That ended 2 days ago. And we said that Ghana is set to receive some $370 million from the IMF as the fourth tranche of the IMF program we're currently on. And there are lots of things. I mean, when we talked about the tariff, we realized that IMF backed that particular tariff, that the tariff increases that we're going to experience in the coming days. And that is something we can talk about. And so today, what I'm going to share with you, I've titled it Power, Politics, and the IMF. What the tariff hikes mean for Ghana's economy. Now, today we're unpacking this very crucial issue that touches both policy and pocket. Now, the recent IMF cited electricity tariff adjustments and their broader economic and social implications. That's what we're talking about. And I believe it's more than just higher light bills or water bills. This is about the future of our energy sector. Also, our economy and the confidence of both citizens and investors. So let's start with the electricity tariff increases. Now, on the surface, it may seem like just another rate adjustment. But beneath this particular tariff increase is an urgent effort to rescue Ghana's struggling energy sector. Now, when the finance minister read the budget in Parliament, we saw that the energy sector is really debt stricken, all right, and there's been conversations around how we can get them out, how we can sort our bills in the energy sector. And it's, like I said, on the surface, it may seem like just another rate adjustment, but beneath that is an urgent effort to rescue Ghana's struggling energy sector. Now, for years, the sector has operated under significant financial strain. It's been riddled with inefficiencies, some mounting debts, and the burden of subsidies that are proving unsustainable. Now, the IMF's recommendation to adjust the tariffs isn't random, I believe. I believe it's a targeted move to help close the financial gaps within the system. Now, it's meant to make the energy sector self-sustaining, to ensure that what we generate, we can actually afford to distribute. But that doesn't come without consequences. And I think that is something that we all need to pay attention to. Now, economically, higher tariffs mean higher operational costs for industries and small businesses. Yes. Now, for manufacturers and service providers, energy is a core input. And so when it becomes more expensive, that cost is often passed on to the consumers through some increased prices of goods and services. So inflation gets another nudge. And that is something that I think that maybe we haven't paid enough attention to, and we need to. Because once the tariffs are increased for manufacturers, for people, service providers, and all of that, they will pass it on to consumers. And I think we've said it here that is the effect of certain decisions that are taken at the top. All right. And also socially, the impact is more direct. I believe socially the impact is more direct because households, particularly low-income ones, are already grappling with the rising cost of living, especially if you're in Accra. The cost of living in Accra is crazy. You go to other parts of the country and it's relatively better. But here in Accra, it is crazy. All right. And so another increase in utility, water bills, light bills, stretches these households further. And in some communities, families are forced to choose between electricity and essentials like food or healthcare. So it's a very heavy burden. Now, yet, and this is the difficult part, it may still be necessary Without these increases, we risk complete collapse in a sector that powers everything from homes and schools to factories and hospitals. But let's be clear, tariff increases are only a temporary solution. And I think that is very, very important. Tariff increases are only temporary solutions. I believe that we need deeper structural reforms. And yesterday, our economic analyst here, Emmanuel Boateng, alluded to that fact. We need deeper structural reforms. Tariffs can plug financial holes, but they can't fix inefficiencies. And so ECG, Ghana Water Company Limited, increasing our tariffs, I think is a step in the right direction anyway. But that won't solve the challenges in the sector completely, because it can plug some financial holes, like I said, but it can't fix inefficiencies. It can't fix wastage and the outdated infrastructure. And so long-term sustainability will require more than price hikes. If we really want to do some long-term sustainability, then it will require more of the great reduction of some technical and commercial losses and a serious pivot towards renewable energy. A serious pivot towards renewable energy. And without this, we will be back in the same position, just with more expensive electricity and just more expensive water. Now, let's shift gears to the political dimension to this whole thing. Now, the government has made it clear it will not renegotiate the IMF deal. The finance minister, Dr. Atuforsen, said that they don't plan to renegotiate the IMF deal. Now, this signals political will and a firm commitment to fiscal discipline. And I must commend the minister for that. That if they don't plan to renegotiate the IMF deal, it is something very commendable, because it means that they are ready and willing to maintain some fiscal discipline, just so that we don't go back to the IMF. Now, from an international perspective, that's a positive sign. What it says is that we are serious about reforms and we are sticking to the plan. But from domestic perspective, I believe that this raises some valid concerns. Ghanaians are bearing the brunt of reforms, tax hikes, tariff adjustments, expenditure cuts, etc. The government, I believe, must do more than to show commitment to the IMF. I believe it must show empathy to its people. Yes, I believe it must show empathy to its people. Policy decisions should be paired with cushioning measures, like subsidies for the most vulnerable, public education to explain the rationale behind reforms, and more efficient public spending to build trust. Now, and what about political consensus? This is where success or failure often hinges. Now, IMF programs require some difficult decisions. You might be cutting spending, restructuring your debt, or even raising taxes. And these moves can easily become political weapons if there is no national consensus. So if opposition parties, civil society, and private sector actors are not brought into the fold, the reforms risk being blocked or reversed. And so there is a need for political consensus. Consensus ensures continuity. It makes reforms last beyond election cycles. And so if there are going to be any reforms, then there's a need for political consensus in this country. Now let's talk about citizen impact and also public perception. Now the IMF recently approved the fourth review of Ghana's program and is set to release some $370 million tranche. But the big question is that will ordinary Ghanaians feel it? The short answer is that, it's probably a bad news. Not immediately. That's the short answer. Because this inflow is meant to support macroeconomic stability. It may help control inflation, reduce exchange rate volatility, and support essential government spending. Over time, this can lead to better delivery of services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. But the direct impact on the average Ghanaian will take time. And that is a reality. And that also depends heavily on how well the government implements the reforms. So to every Ghanaian feeling frustrated by rising taxes or increased tariffs, your concerns are valid. The pain is real. But these measures, difficult as they are part of a broader strategy to stabilize the economy. We've been here before, patching up problems instead of solving them. And what we are seeing now is an attempt to confront the structural weaknesses that have kept us in a cycle of borrowing and bailout. If we stay on tracks, the rewards will come. Not overnight, but steadily, I believe. So let's talk about investor confidence as well. Now, the fourth review and subsequent disbursements, I think they signal progress. The IMF stamp of approval tells the world that Ghana is on track. And that helps build confidence among investors, among lenders, and development partners. We could see increased foreign direct investment, improved credit terms, and better access to financial markets. So I believe it's a step toward rebuilding our reputation and opening new economic opportunities. Yeah. And finally, what does this mean for Ghana's credit worthiness? I believe it is improving, because meeting IMF targets demonstrates some fiscal discipline, and that reassures creditors. It also helps reduce our risk profile and may eventually lower our borrowing cost. But again, consistency is very key in this. One successful review is great, but sustainable improvement depends on following through review after review. So what should we watch out for ahead of the next IMF review? I believe that several milestones are critical. Maybe we should be looking out for our progress on fiscal consolidation. Are we cutting waste and improving revenue collection? And those are things that the government, through the Minister of Finance, has said that they are making commitments to. We want to see more on that. Also, inflation trends. Are we keeping the prices stable? And maybe debt restructure. Are we negotiating effectively with creditors and honoring new arrangements? Those are the things that we need to pay attention to. And of course, the risks remain. Global inflation, commodity price shocks, or political stability could all derail our progress. And we must be proactive, I believe, and not reactive. We must be transparent and not opaque. We must be bold and not complacent. Ghana is at a crossroads, but also at an opportunity point, if you ask me. Because with discipline, reforms, and a bit of patience, I believe that we can turn this tough season into a turning point. And those are a few of the things I wanted to share with you this morning that we must pay attention to across the divide. So economically, socially, in terms of politics, in terms of the impact on citizens and the public, and also investor confidence and Ghana's creditworthiness. These are all things that we must pay attention to, and of course our risks as well. So that will be all for market trends today. Today the market trends took a different turn. It's a special market trends, and we'll bring you subsequent ones. I mean the regular ones that we usually do in the coming days. But thank you very much for listening to Market Trends. We're going to get into a roundtable discussion pretty soon, but let's take a quick music break. When we return, my guests will join me, and today we're talking about how you can cultivate the habit of reading. Stay tuned.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
take you.
You can't touch my property, say we are me enemy. This is my first attack. I wanna see your hands up. You can't touch my property, say we are me enemy. This is my first attack. Let me see your hands up. You can't touch my property, say we are me enemy. This is my first attack. Let me see your hands up. You can't touch my property, say we are me enemy. This is my first attack. You know me believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it, no. I'm not believe it, brother, sister, believe it. We want to believe it, believe it, no. So I'm gonna say me, you are my around me jacket. She used to be my empress, now my enemy. Mommy is that me bro.
lurcher, and business radio. It's your lifestyle lurcher and business radio.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. We have just about 12 minutes, or 22 minutes really, to the top of the hour, and it's time for us to get into our roundtable discussion this morning. This morning we have an all-important conversation to have, and we're going to talk about cultivating the habit of reading. There are many of us who struggle to read consistently. We've told ourselves that Charlie, as for this year, Charlie, as for this month, as for this week, but we keep going back to idleness really, and we're unable to do the things that we want to do. Today's world is filled with a lot of distractions, and many of us struggle to build some consistent reading habits, and that is why today we're having this very, very important conversation. We know you're an investor, you're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur, you're listening to us. It's sometimes difficult to actually build a habit around reading because you feel like you have deadlines to meet and all of that. And that is why this conversation is important. So we are joined by three insightful guests who will help us break down this particular subject matter and share how we can make reading a lifestyle. Now I have in studio with me Odoi Na Jama Martina. She's a founder of Martina Cares, and also Euramba Saki Barnes, who is a co-curator at Bibliophiles and Vibes Book Club, and also Eric Kwejo Gota. He's a PhD candidate at the University of South Africa. He's a lecturer, research assistant, and an info scientist. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Great. All right, let's start the conversation this way. Now, I know Martina has read 6 books this year so far.
That's if you're talking about just like development books.
Okay.
But if school books are inclusive, it will be more.
It will be more. Right. I see. Very interesting. And Amber is a shocking one. Amber, she says she's read 25 books. Hey. Amber, 25. Are there big books or they are small books?
They vary in size.
They vary in size.
Yeah.
The
averagely
most
should
voluminous
be
one?
300, 350 pages.
And how many do you do in a day?
I wouldn't say in a day, but in a week, I try to read at least 2 books.
I see, at least.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I see. Very interesting. And as for Mr. Gota, he does a lot of research papers and all of that.
Research books every
see. Very interesting. All right. So let's start the conversation this way. Now I'm going to start with you. Which of the names should I call? Eric. Eric is fine. All right. So Eric, tell us, why is reading such an essential thing to cultivate in our world today?
Thank you very much, and then good morning to your listeners. When I received call from your station and then the topic, I was like, wow. Sometimes a few days ago, I was having a discussion with somebody concerning reading.
Right.
And I told them that nowadays, reading is one way or the other departing from us.
That's true.
Society. You know, in this age of social media, in this age of smartphones, we're expecting that people should rather have the books that you have to go to the library to read. But now social media has given access to everybody to have any material at all to read. But, you know, our young ones, they are always on social media. They want to either share their pictures or whatever. But one thing I want to say about reading is that, look, reading is not just the word reading. It's not just a hobby. Reading one is a gateway for you to acquire knowledge.
Right.
And when you acquire knowledge, that should tell you that a lot of things will change around your environment. If you are not exposed to reading or you are not exposed to information, you just be living in a dark world. You will know what actually is happening around you.
Right.
And personal growth, if you are reading, it contributes to your personal growth.
That's true.
Wherever you stand to speak, you have that confidence to talk. You have that edge to always speak.
Right.
If you are a teacher, if you are a nurse, if you are a pastor, you are not reading, you will always be misleading your audience. And always...
I think that rhymed. yeah. If you're not reading, you'll be misleading.
You will always be misleading people.
I see.
Which means that you must be ready to read. And sometimes I sit behind to listen to some people on radio, TV, watch them, and then when they are talking, I ask myself, are these people actually reading? Are these people actually reading?
I see.
Because reading will also build your critical thinking.
Okay.
And in Ghana, 70% of us, we lack that critical thinking ability because we don't read.
Is that
so a lot of people make a lot of
backed by statistics, or it is
no. As a researcher, I can say that I have come across some few researches done in Africa, and then also in Sub-Sahara, and I can confirm that reading now is actually departing from us, and then that kind of critical thinking ability is being taken away from us. So you see that you'll be in a car, you'll be walking wherever, even students making arguments without even any logical coherence because they don't read. You know, reading will also help you to have a good imaginations, thinking ability.
Right.
When you read, you should be able to forecast.
Absolutely.
When you read, you should be able to think ahead. When you read, you should be able to understand your environment and understand what is ahead of you. But because in Africa, for that matter, Ghana, most of us don't read, we don't even know how to predict for tomorrow. If you are a married man or woman, you don't read, you don't invest your time in reading religious books, reading marriage books, you will not have the flair of how to navigate around challenges anytime you encounter some.
Right.
As a student, you must be able to read to be able to navigate around challenges. Absolutely. It's not only the matter of you going to sit in a classroom for a lecturer to expose you to. You know, that is one thing that universities or our tertiary institutions have barred lecturers from actually providing or textbook or whatever, limiting students from reading from only one material. You allow the student with reading references to go out there, they should go and read more to be able to come out with a cogent when they are writing their exam, to be able to bring out ideal points, unique points that will help them tomorrow for critical thinking ability to help the industry. But today, people are not ready to read. They are only there for chew and pour to go and pass and forget.
Okay.
Nobody's ready, and those are the things. But one thing we don't know is that when you are reading, it reduces stress. Anytime you are reading, it reduces stress. It takes your mind away from a lot of things. Yes, whether you have money in your pockets, when you are reading and the thing is exciting enough, you forget about your whatever is happening around you.
I see.
So reading have a lot of impact on our life.
I see. Yeah. We'll come back to that. Thank you. Now let me bring Martina into the conversation. Martina, tell me, one would expect that actually today we are in a digital age. Everybody has social media. We see posts from time to time, but and that is supposed to help us to be avid readers. But that is not the case. Do you agree?
I do agree, because I don't get the connection you're trying to make between technology or social media and reading. Because my mom always used to say that the feeling of flipping a page, you won't get that from scrolling. Right. Because I know there are some ebooks online, but I, for one, I'm not a fan of ebooks, and I don't preach ebooks because, one, it's not even good for your eyesight. Secondly, like, paperback is just paperback. But the young people of today are more intrigued by maybe watching, because there's like a movie that has like a book session. He or she rather watch the movie because it's the same thing you get from the book. But if you are like an avid reader, or even if you're a beginner reader, you are able to, like Eric rightfully said, sometimes your imagination runs wild. At least for me. If I read about I've never been to Hawaii, but I have imagined Hawaii so many times because I've read about it, I've seen pictures, so I can visualize it before I even get to maybe go there or something. So I'd always say that paperback, because I mean, if you're scrolling, it doesn't give you the urge to read. It doesn't give you the prompt like, have you read today? Unless maybe you are following like a book club or something, it's already giving you stuff you want to see. Like the algorithm brings you stuff you want to see. Right. So if it's a dancing video, church, whatever, it's giving you what will keep you there for them to also get their analytics up. So it won't give you the edge to go and read a book today or a book tomorrow. So yeah, it's not helping at all.
I see. All right. Amber disagrees.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I disagree because, one, I use social media. I post a lot of the books I read and reviews online. And so just like, I think it's like a generational thing. Like whatever medium people choose to read, so far as they are reading, they are developing their minds. And for me, that is what matters. And like people use social media a lot these days. And so like when you post about books, someone will be like, oh, I've read this review. This is a book I want to read. And so through that, people will be reading. And I heard you mention paperback. Books are so expensive. Like, books are so expensive. Right. Before, in like 2021, I could buy a paperback for like 45 CDs. Now the least I can get is like 100 CDs. How many people can afford that? Right. You know, so it's a thing of like where we are, like our economic statuses. Reading has become like a luxury now, even though it's supposed to be like a basic thing for everyone. Everybody. So for me, I think as much as social media has like its negative sides, I think especially for the reading community, I have a book club, people join in online, we have discussions on Twitter. So like, yeah, people are using social media to push reading. And so I think we need to look at like both sides.
Right, but the point is that it doesn't take away. I mean, we can't substitute the two. We can't say that because
exactly. Because I was looking at the angle. Yes, I'm part of a reading club, Ignite Empowerment. It's online that we do. They put the ebooks there and all that. I was looking at the angle where no distractions. You know, if I'm using my phone to read, and my friend sends me a pop-up, unless I'm very I'm very disciplined that, okay, unless I finish the number of pages I've put myself to, I might just go and click on the Instagram and then end up staying there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but your comment about the economic situation too is quite valid. That is why now that we don't have like a lot of libraries, because growing up, my mom used to take me to libraries and I don't see a lot of those public libraries and even private libraries being like utilized nowadays. So I get that as well. Yeah, that would be a disadvantage.
Right. But what are some of the benefits of reading to you personally, Martina?
Okay. Personally, I think it's helped me build my vocabulary.
Okay.
And also the imagination bit is very wild. You might not even understand if I try to explain. So the imagination bit, my vocabulary, because it kind of like helps you to, there are synonyms of a lot of words. Like every word has a synonym. But sometimes this particular synonym of the word might not even work in the context that you're using it in. People don't know that. You feel like, because I want to say happy, flabbergasted, amazed, all of that might work, but depends on the context and how you're trying to make your communicator feel like. You might choose to use this particular synonym over the other.
Can you give an example?
So reading actually makes me understand and reflect and slow down to be able to not make someone feel belittled or not make someone feel like big English. An example, I think we were having a presentation thing at work and one of the girls used verbose. Verbose is good English. If you are amongst your peers that you feel like, all of you understand, because you're in a society where people already see you like, dodo, if you're trying to,
Right.
So if you can use wordy, because it's just trying to say that your template is, a lot of words and less pictures. So you can just use wordy. So the person, because now the girl asked you, what's the meaning of verbose? Because she didn't know. And now you even was like, check Google. Because I'm sure that even if you want to explain it, you might not even get like the exact thing you might want to say.
Right.
Yeah. So like it also helps me understand that, okay, not everybody is on the same IQ level or reading level. So it helps me. And then it also helps me like derive some empathy. Because, when I read, I kind of like understand the world better, understand other people's, because you're reading like some books like maybe how to make friends and manage this, or how to the rules of thinking and all those things, 48 laws of power. So it helps you understand how to navigate even your dealings with people, your human relations. So that is why I think reading has also helped me do that. And like what Eric said, it helps me just escape. If I'm reading like a novel, and I love horror, so I love Dean Koontz, so it helps me just escape whatever like reality I'm going through at the time, whether it is something you're going through or something going through you, a crazy day. Reading just helps me escape and then just go to a different world like that. Yeah.
Right.
So
I see Eric nodding. Eric, you have something to share as well?
Yes, with what she said earlier concerning vocabulary building, this reminds me of when I was in secondary school. We were supposed to attend, how do you call it, this one, entertainment. So one guy, he dodged the entertainment, and then the entertainment master on Monday was going around to punish those who escape from the entertainment. So he got to that guy, their class, and then he mentioned his name. He told the teacher that, look, I was around. The teacher said, no way. And then the entertainment professor said, no way. You weren't around. He said, sir, I cannot bamboozle you. Then I cannot bamboozle you. No, it threw the whole school into laughter. The whole class into laughter. Right. I say, hey, what do you mean? I say, sir, simply, I'm saying that I cannot deceive you. I was around. You see, so it have gingered some of us to start reading. So we asked him where he got some of those terms from. So he mentioned at that time his brother was in a technical university. So anytime he gets to, he has been taking some of his books to read. So that is where he got the vocabulary. Right. So in fact, it gingered some of us also to go and get books to start reading. And then so that also built our vocabularies. So that we can also, and that actually helped. That actually helped. You see, she mentioned a lot of things about reading. You see, reading is not just for fun.
Right.
Reading adds a lot of things to your personality. And she made reference to 48 laws of power, that material.
Yeah.
If you want to be a good team player, if you read some of this material, it will help you to understand that you don't run faster than your bosses. You understand? So
law number one.
Yes, law number one, which
Never
you get.
outshine your master.
You can't jump or you can't outshine your master.
Right.
Now, when you are reading also builds your grammar very well. You don't just, and you know, when you have issues with English, you can't speak in public. Your confidence level will be low. You have that low self-esteem.
That's true.
And I'm telling you, wherever people are gathered and they are talking, you are always like a deaf and dumb person. You can't say anything. When people are arguing, you can't say anything. And it will be very difficult for you to work at some advantageous places. You can't work as a lecturer. You can't work in a church. You can't work even in a studio. You can't even work here.
That's true.
Even when you are with your friend, you meet somebody who is speaking that fluently. You are intimidated.
That's true.
You don't even want to come out to say anything for somebody to just laugh at you.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, and reading also help you to be able to be an advocate, to be able to advise people.
Okay.
When you get experience from a lot of people through reading, you are able to counsel people. You are able to admonish people.
Right.
It is knowledge is not from a vacuum. Knowledge, information is around us. So the pieces of information that you pick, that will help you to be able to also do something better tomorrow.
Right.
So if you want to be a good counselor, you don't read. You always be deceiving people. That is why I've been telling people that going for marriage counseling nowadays is not, I don't even see the importance of it. Because if you can sit down and read, you'll be able to navigate your own challenges.
Right.
If you want to find out from people, how do I apply for job? How do I apply for grant? If you read, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
A lot of people are not able to write even common statement, even letter for employment, because they are not able to what? They don't read. So they don't even know where to start from. They don't even know where to end. So reading for me is not just a hobby. It's not just for fun. It contributes a lot of things. It's also a lifelong something that will help you to build yourself. When you are aging, reading will make you look like you are still young.
I see.
And when you are young, reading will make you to look as if you are an elderly person, because wherever the elderlies are and they are talking, you can also contribute something.
Right. So it's evident that the benefits of reading are enormous.
Very.
Why aren't people reading then, Amber?
So I will use myself as an example.
Okay.
Growing up, I didn't have access to a lot of books. So there's that. Like, a lot of people want to read, but there's no access. Like, I remember we used to have a queue in school, like one book, and there's 11 people in line waiting to read. And so there's that. And there's the public libraries are not funded, books are expensive, even with e-books, we don't have them. And so, even if people want to read, where are they finding their books? And also, as a matter of, are people writing in Ghana? People aren't reading, and so people are not writing. I think the two go, they go hand in hand. Because if you are reading, then you have a lot of ideas, and then you write. But because we are not reading, we are not writing, and so, yeah, that's why I think.
That's okay. So apart from the materials not being available, Martina, what other reasons are there?
I look at it in two angles. One, the time. You actually need time to read.
Absolutely.
Because if it's on, whether it's ebook or paperback, you need some amount of time. Maybe you allocate yourself that. The way she says she wants to 2 books in a week. You know that the number of minutes or hours in a day that you read and all that. So I think time, because now adulting, or even when they are younger, they don't have the zeal or enough motivation. And I'm using myself as an example because growing up, I had people who read around me. My parents were scholars. They're people who are school inclined. So we had a structure for reading. My mom used to drive me to, there's a library in Accra. I don't know if it's still working. I always say one day I just want to go past there if it's still working. Because my mom will take you there and leave you there.
Which
around before you get to the Supreme Court area.
Right.
It was on the right.
Right. Yeah, still there.
Oh, it had a whole structure. You signed in like the normal library system. So she leaves you there and come and pick you up later. And she had assignment for you at home. So I still have that book till today.
Wow.
My friends always tease me with it, and then it's like one of the things I have from my mom still, so I can't let it go. You write the name of the book, the author, writer, the new words you've learned from the book, synonyms of the words, and then you form sentences with the words. She marks them.
Wow.
So it actually, and I always say the first book my mom made me read was The Ugly Duckling. And I can never forget that. And then it became like a habit. So I, for one, I can say I got it from the people around me. And I also know people who are striving to be better, to want to read. And I always say that the art of reading is not what is going to help you develop, but it's what you are taking from the book. So also sometimes access to or knowledge about the particular books that you can actually also read also sometimes is a problem.
Right.
Because there are development books, there are school books, and there are just novels and fiction, which one is just for fun or excitement. But if you want books to reflect in your life, to reflect as if someone says she's a reader, I should be able to see that you're a reader because you're communicating. And I always have this thing with people, the difference between early on and earlier on. I don't know if you also have that.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you read, you won't even make such a flimsy mistake. But if you don't say it well, you come off as do. So I don't say it proudly, but I say on the low with you that, okay, no, it's not it. Or just check Google, earlier on and see what you see. But some of these things, people don't really care whether they are speaking good English or they are grammatically correct. They don't care. So far as they feel like they've told you what they want to say, they are good. So sometimes the motivation, the people around you, because I can say that the book club, since I joined, I put all my friends inside. Because if you don't have time to go to the meetings now, it's online.
Right.
The woman, Miss Obobia Daku Upuku, I always thank her. She puts all the girls together. She puts
you're part
a
of
book.
Ignite.
Yes, Ignite
okay.
Empowerment.
Okay.
So she puts a book there. We read every night. We all talk about what we've taken from the book, and then it goes. We have one person who moderates, and then it goes, because we all understand that adulting. So if you are not intentional about it, time just passes by.
I see. That's the under tree something.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So we have the under tree meeting once a month, but then reading is every night on the WhatsApp platform.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. Very interesting. You spoke about motivation. She spoke about availability of materials.
Access.
A very major one is the distraction that we face today from social media and all of that. Eric, speak to that.
Yeah, so what I want to say about these challenges to reading. Social media is taking a lot of time of the youth. All the youth, most of them want to be on status. Most of them are on Facebook not for anything, just to create fun.
Right.
Most of them are on IG not for anything, just to laugh. So the time to just go online, download material to read is not there. In a car, either they are on Facebook or on IG. And the most fascinating one today is the betting.
Okay.
When you see, especially most of the young ones, the men, even in a car, you see them betting. They are reading scores. They are following football. So the time to read is not there.
It's not there.
Not at all. It's not there.
So how can we overcome these challenges?
Even the young one, the children. I even wanted to say something before we come to the overcoming aspect.
Right.
You know, currently, rent is very expensive. They're sleeping and the light is on. They feel distracted, so they have to ask their children to off the light, so you can't read. Now, most of our area, if not East Legon here, the places are very noisy. So if you are not in any school library to read, you find it difficult to have access to read.
Right.
And she said something earlier. I want to say that most of also our materials, you have to pay for them online. For instance, if you're in a university and maybe you don't have access to any of the subscribed databases to get articles or journals to read, also have a lot of challenges for students to have access to. Now, one thing that I can say about this social media stuff is learning is a training. And if you are not born with it, if I say you are not born with it, which means that she mentioned something about people in your environment. Yeah. If you don't have any siblings or anybody around that read, and you are not able to cultivate that culture from the onset, when you are growing up to adopt that strategy, is not easy. So you need somebody to motivate you, and you must also do away with social media. To do away with social media, not to say to shut down social media, but you can find a way to balance it. You can actually time yourself that between this time to this time, you are going to be on your books. Okay. You are going to read. You see, and some institutions are helping their children to read. For instance, my son, when he get back from school, what happened is that the teachers created a WhatsApp group platform on my phone. They use our numbers. So immediately he gets back, he picked my phone. They are having discussion. They have questions on the platform. They read, answer, and then you put it on the platform. So it keeps them doing something. Okay. And another thing too is you have to ward away your children from watching too much television.
It's a major distraction.
Yes, it's a major distraction. Once they get back, you pay your DSTV time, and then they are exposed to this African Magic and Co. They will also be interested in watching those Nigerian movies and Co. They will not be able to read. So you must be able to time them. You must be able to time them. That this time this is what you are supposed to do. This time this is what you are supposed to do. And another thing is that if you, the mother or the father, you are always on social media, you are encouraging your child to follow you.
Exactly.
So, but when your child comes back from school and see daddy reading, see the elder siblings reading, the child will be forced to read.
Yeah.
You get it? They will be forced to read.
So how can a parent who doesn't read currently get their children to start reading? Because from what you're saying, it's obvious that the children learn from what they are seeing around them. So how can a parent do that?
So it varies from home to home. Because one, the financial muscles also speak a lot.
That's true.
You go to most homes now, they don't even know what is library, home library. They don't know. They don't have some there. Even for newspapers or whatever, they don't even have some there. So when you get there, the only thing you see will be rags and co on the floors for everybody to entertain with. So this thing varies from home to home. So what you can do is that I can best advise that if you cannot read, the best thing to do is to get a teacher for your ward. Okay. To come and then help you or to
but
read.
What if you don't have the means?
And then also the environment where you rent also matters. Where you build also matters. The people around you. If there are school children over there, you can actually ask your child to meet them so that they read together. They read together. You motivate them to read together. For you, there is somebody, a neighbor, that is more intelligent. The children are learning. They are sponsoring them very well. When they come together, they can just meet somewhere within the compound and read. But with our current system, those things are not happening. You wake up, you leave home 4:30, you get back 9 p.m. So you don't even know what goes on in the house. If you ask that when you return from school, you guys should just meet and read. When you get back and you ask whether they have read, they tell you yes. When they go there, whether they just go and entertain themselves and whatever. So reading is something that we have to take as a personal work, that we have to guide our children. You see? And if you don't have anybody like a senior sibling that are ahead of you that can also advise you, and then when they get back, they read, it also affects our reading habit.
Right. Okay. Amber, you had something to say earlier.
Yeah, I forget what I was going to say, but I think you mentioned having to build a habit and dealing with distractions.
Yeah, dealing with distractions.
So I'll use myself because that is how I started reading again. So I picked up reading again in 2020, 2021. So what I used to do was every day I read for at least 5 minutes.
Okay.
At least 5 minutes. And I think a lot of the times in Ghana, when we mention reading, people always talk about religious books, business books, making it look like if you're reading novels, then it's like just for fun. But a lot of the things I have learned is actually from novels, very well researched, You learn about people's culture, how people think about things. So I think there's that. And also, like, a lot of the time people ask me, how do I build a habit of reading? So first question I'll ask you is, when you're watching movies, what kind of movies do you like to watch? And so you find books in that specific category, and then you read, because if you're reading things that you enjoy, obviously you want to go back, you know, and so like at least every day 5 minutes, then you're reading like, okay, one more chapter, and then you keep going, and then that is how you build the habit. And then from there you can start reading other materials, because now you have built the habit. So don't force yourself to read, like we call it aspire to perspire. Don't force yourself to read a lot of that, because a lot of times it's redundant sometimes, and you can't go on because they're saying the same things. But if you're reading a novel, maybe you want to finish and then pick another book, and then just like that you build a habit. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So now, you want to add something?
To overcoming the challenges, I think from a start, if you're new, you can join a club or a reading friendly environment.
Right.
So even if you're just, it doesn't have to be a club that is like big and all that. Even if you are just 2, 3, 4, 5 people that can keep each other in check, you agree that, okay, we read 1 chapter, 2 chapters today, maybe new words anyway, and then that one can also help. And I think now most of so with Martina Cares, sometimes when we go to the orphanages, we actually have reading sessions with the kids, because we realize that some orphanages have libraries that have been funded by either an NGO or the government, but the books are even dusty. So it's like they feel like the quota they should contribute is get the kids books, but nobody is actively checking if or whether they are reading or not. So as part of that, some NGOs and the religious bodies that want to help these kids, I feel like when they go, they should be more interested in if they are reading the books than if they need the books to just be there. Like the library is nice, but the kids are not using it. And I like the comments, the comments you made about what you love. So you don't feel like today I want to start reading, and I just go and pick up a John Grisham book or just pick up a religious book. But if I feel like I like action, so I like horror movies. That's why I'm now leaning more into Dane Coons and those horror style. And it keeps you flipping before you realize now you can't do away with like without reading from a day or two. So yeah, I think that also helps.
Right. Apart from that, what other?
I want to.
Okay, you want to touch on that? Okay.
Touch on some few things. I think GS is having a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they have to actually.
GS is having a lot of work to do. You know, there are innovative programs. The days we were in school, once you are going to class, you know that mentals will come.
Yeah, in the morning,
dictation will come. So once you get home, after eating, you are reading, looking for words. But today, these kind of dictations are not there.
Oh, is that? Are you sure?
Not most of them.
You know, it's not as it used to be.
I think.
Because most of my nieces and nephews, I mean, I don't know the percentage, but I know not all schools now.
Eric likes 70%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying things are not the way they used to be before, but I don't agree with what you're saying, because with what you're saying, sometimes it makes reading like a chore. And so when people are not in these institutions anymore, they don't do it because nobody's checking, you know. But if you're having it, like making it fun for people, it's like when I'm there, I just pick a book because I like to read, not because someone is coming to quiz me or ask me to answer questions. And so,
also, people pick their reading habits from those places as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for everyone. But the thing is, if we want reading to be like as part of people's daily habits, you don't necessarily need to make it like some kind of like a punishment.
No, reading is not punishment. Reading
is the form of the mental and the form of mental.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, those days, before even you progress to another class, after all your exam and everything, what they did to us at the time was they will give you a reading material. You have to at least read the chapter before you qualify to move to the next class.
Really?
Yes, that is
Which day? Oh, your days.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which days?
That was the 90s.
Oh,
the 90s. That was what happened. And then also sometime before even you progress to another class, they call all of you, they assemble you, they mention your name before you move. And then everybody gets to know that maybe you don't know how to read. That is why you remain here. So we are all forced to. But what I'm trying to say is that GES will have a lot of work to do. They have to introduce a lot of incentive programs, innovative programs for students. You see, these spelling bees are there, reading competitions are there that they can also introduce. You see, if there's no competition around, nobody will even find it so luxury or whatever to read. That is one of the challenges we have to. So GES, I call on them to actually change their system, their style of doing things. The way we do things in the old, things are changing today. Even today, rather that we have technology around us, today that we have social media around us, we should rather leverage on that to be able to create innovative way of reading.
You mentioned technology. I don't know what's your take on audiobooks. You know, it can also help people. They should develop that as well. Yeah,
I like listening to audio.
Just before
audio
that.
Bible.
Just before that.
Okay.
Just before that. Well, 16 minutes after 9. This is Business Breakfast on Zed. If you just tuned in, we're talking about cultivating the habit of reading. And so whether you're somebody who is unable to do that, you don't do it as much as you want, this conversation is for you. You can just get in touch with us on our WhatsApp platform, and you can ask questions or make comments as and when. 0544 321019, 0544 321019. You can send us a text and we'll do what to read it, or you can call us on 03039 56641, 03039 56641. Or get in touch with us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and we'll do well to read your comments. Well, let me come back. You were making a point, Eric.
So what I was trying to say is that GS have a lot of things to do to build these kind of things around us, and then also where we work, our working environment. They should also try to introduce some libraries, small libraries there.
There's a library at my workplace. Yes, please.
Is it when we are talking about library at your workplace, the library should be accessible and visible, so that in your library you can just walk there, pick a book and read. Not that you have to climb a high building, maybe to the 5th floor or 7th floor before you have access to. And then what I'm trying to also say is that in your office, your personal office, you can try to have a library there that you can, when you go to work that you don't have anything doing, you can read. You see, if we don't read, you go to work, you sit down, your confidence level will be gone, and you can't even contribute any quota to your institution before you exit there.
Right.
So I am encouraging, whether the old or the young. There's one elderly man at Spinthers, even at his age of 80 years, he published a book. So I asked him, how do you do it? He said, that is part of me. And how did you get to this stage? He said, when he was growing up, he was exposed to reading. So I think schools should also introduce these reading clubs. It's something serious, reading clubs.
I think they have, but as to whether it's being motivated or followed up on, like who is in charge of making sure that it's actually rolling. Because with the GES comment, we had a quiz competition. You know, World Malaria Day is 25th April.
Okay.
So Ghana Health Service and NMEP are trying to build like hype around it, because in Ghana it's not really, people don't know that. So as part of the activities, they did the inter-school quiz competition. Because it was just on malaria, we gave them the material that will be used to quiz them, months to read. So they read the material and got prepared for the quiz, which just did the finals last week. So I feel like if they are tasked, if the kids are motivated enough, GES was part of it, so they can, because they have the data on the schools, the children, the districts, everything.
Right.
So if they are intentional about it, they should be able to cultivate reading into like the course.
I recollected one thing. In my church, the New Covenant Apostolic Church, what we're doing, we have this children's service where we have trained teachers. When we talk about trained teachers, they are people trained to lead the children in reading. So most of the time you see them come to church, these people lead them to read. So those who don't even know how to read, they are taught in the church.
That's nice.
And then also they are given some materials to go and read and then come and present. So that is one thing. So I think churches also have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
They also have a lot of work to do to find a way around their Sunday schools to also try to bring this kind of reading habit to their children. They know when they go to church and then they ask Sunday school madam or teacher asks them questions, they are not able to answer. They'll be embarrassed before they are. Even it's supposed not to be embarrassment, but they themselves will naturally they'll feel embarrassed. So I think the churches also have a lot of.
They have a role to play, right? Okay, we're giving some solutions because I know people are listening to this conversation mainly because they want to now start reading. So maybe somebody's asking, where do I start from? Really, where do I start from? I know we've mentioned some of the things scattered around and all of that, but let's be a bit more specific. Let's dwell on some solutions here because we have business people listening. We have general people that don't even have maybe some background really when it comes to reading from childhood and all of that. So where do they start from? Let me come to you, Amber.
Okay, so I would say for young people, you can join my book club. Yeah, you can join my book club because at least...
It's free, right?
Oh, yes, free.
Okay.
If you apply yourself, at least once every month you read one book.
Very well.
And you get to meet with people to discuss the books and you get to hear different perspectives, and so join my book club one. But if you are a working professional, you can carve out time. A lot of the time we say we don't have time, but we have time. Yeah, we have time.
We're just not making time.
Yeah, we have to make time. It can be 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. If you can, maybe get audiobooks.
Yeah.
You are driving to work, you are book club. There are libraries. There are private libraries. You can also, can I mention?
Oh yeah,
libraries?
Sure.
Okay, there's Anante Library in East Legon. They have a lot of books by African authors, a lot of very good books. You can also start from there. I think there's Lotad, that is somewhere in Adenta. So you can also register to, if you follow my book club, you get a lot of information because we share the libraries that we partner with, the books that we are reading, authors that we interact with, and so, yeah.
All right, Martina.
Okay, so yes, I concur everything you said, good. And I'd also like to say that if you are maybe a leader or you are heading a department, like I said, where I used to work, where I work now has like paperback. They have a library, so and then our bosses actually encourage you to pick a book. Right. Make sure you bring it back in. I used to give my books out. Now I'm not so sure because some people don't return it. They return it in a very bad state. But please, if you have books, give it out to your friends. Just keep track, and that also helps them because, like Amber said, paperback is very odd. We are all different people. Right. So share your books, please. And if it's ebooks, also share and remind your friends to be reading. That's for young. And if you are old, join Ignite Empowerment Book Club as well because we also read. And to come down to technology, so the audiobooks. Where I used to work, our boss, every Monday morning, the motivation was audiobooks because he can't maybe come and force you to open the paperback. So it's compulsory. We all come and sit in one department and we listen.
Wow.
Sometimes it's green, sometimes how to sell, how to win customers. Like sometimes it's not just novels and it's not only just development books. Anything at all. And also, like you mentioned, even if it's on your table, you have your own small shelf there. It reminds you. So if you have 5 or 10 minutes, even if I'm eating, I use that time to read. Because yes, I'm eating, I have the free time, I'm munching on it, I can read. So you can also be intentional to make time. 10 minutes between your presentation before this, because it actually calms me. So coming here, I was reading because I'm a very nervous person, so I don't know anybody here. I'm coming, it calms me. And I'm reading Great by Choice by Jim Collins, and it's also a very good one. So it just calms me and gets me prepared for the day. So you just have to be very intentional about it because we are all busy, we are all doing something. But so far as you also acknowledge that it will help you in your daily lives to achieve what you are doing, you would make time, even if it's right before you sleep. Just read and then you can just doze off. Then tomorrow you just pick it up again. So yes, it's not giddy. It's as you as and when. And like Amber said, I like that one. What you enjoy. So if it's a movie you like, Harry Potter, even they have the books. So just read. Because after you cultivate the intention and now you love it, the rest will just follow. Yeah.
The rest will just follow. All right. That's you wanted to say something?
So one thing I want to say is that reading is discipline.
I was coming to ask the role of discipline in all of this, because we can say, oh, just join a good club. People join and don't you have people who are not active?
Who are very redundant
exactly. So people join and they don't show up and all of that. So how do we deal with all of that?
Is discipline.
Yeah.
If you cannot discipline yourself, you can't read. That is the first starting point. Number 2, you have to set a goal for yourself. You can't just stand up to say that, oh, let me read just for reading's sake. You have to start small. You have to develop it small. Okay, so you set a target for yourself that.
Yeah, she said 2 books a week.
2 books a week.
At least 5 minutes a day. So that's a target.
And I was in secondary school Form 2 when one of our seniors finished another secondary school. As at the time he was finishing, he finished reading 500.
Wow.
500 storybooks.
Wow.
That's very impressive.
500.
And 4
that
years.
guy, I don't even know where he is at the moment. 500. So when even their SSC results came, our time was SSC. The guy had A in core English. You see, people thought that reading is just for general arts students. That is the thinking. But if you are able to discipline yourself, you are able to set a goal. When we talk about discipline, how to sit down to read is another thing. Do away with social media. Put your phone somewhere. That, oh, this time, this 1 hour is my reading time. You put your phone on silent. I think you are into those reading clubs a lot. So you know how you talk to. Sometimes you call people to come to a reading meeting, but they won't come. Immediately they see your call coming through, they know why you are calling them. They will not even answer the call. Sometimes they even see the time, then they put their phone on flight mode. So that when you call and you are able to get them, you know that they are not available. You see, sometimes I don't even like talking to people on phone, because when you call the person on phone, you don't even know the person's facial expression. And the group of people that are with the person at the time will be frowning their face and say a lot of things. Mommy wepa, Papa wepa. It's coming to disturb me. Coming to disturb my mind again with this reading stuff. Right. So it calls for serious discipline.
Right. I don't want us to just speak to the issues, generically. I want us to speak to specifics. How you are doing it and it's helping you. All right. So let me come to Amber. Amber, do you have to get like a specific time to read, or do you have like a specific time, or you just take advantage of maybe time in trotro and all of that to read? Tell us about it.
So when I was starting, now I have built the habit, so it's like second nature. But when I was starting out, there were specific times.
Okay.
So like in the morning when I wake up, maybe do my devotion, and then after I read, before I go to work, and then when I'm commuting, I read. But now it's like something I do. So there are certain days where I don't feel like reading. I don't beat myself up. I just pick it up whenever I can, because it's like something I do. But I think for people who are starting out, we make time for things that are important to us. And so if it's important to you, you make time for it because you know what you're going to get out of it. And so I would say find a time that works for you. If it's in the morning, you can set a timer on your phone. Okay, I want to read for only 5 minutes today. 5 minutes in the morning. If it's 5:30, 6 a.m. Make sure you stick to it. But if you can't, don't beat yourself up, because like we do that and you don't go back to it. So if you set the time, 5 minutes, just read 5 minutes. Find good material, very good material to start reading, because if you're reading a bad book, to build a habit, you obviously won't go back. And so find a book in your interest area, set the time. Don't beat yourself up if you can't meet it, and then just keep going. So I think for me, that would be what I can share on how to build a habit and be disciplined.
Right. Okay. So discipline is very, very important. Martina, share yours with us. How does it work for you?
Personally, I would take between paperback and audiobooks.
Okay.
So I'm a Muslim, so I wake up for Fajr around 5 a.m. So by 4:30, I'm up. So I feel personally I have a structure. I don't know if it's because I already have the reading from like childhood, but personally I have a structure. So at 4:30, after prayers is the audiobook that I play. So as I'm getting ready around the house, the audiobook is playing. So I'm getting that information as well. And then if I'm driving, I can't read, I can hold a book, so it's still audiobook or radio. I like news as well, because reading is not just like she said, any informative material. Then news. So when I get to work starts at 9. So if I get to work before 9, while I'm eating, I read. That's my first paperback of the day, whilst I'm eating. So after eating around 12, we have lunch. Whether I eat or not, I have that 25 minutes in between, because with Ignite, every night we have to do a review of a chapter you have read.
Okay.
And then what you picked and all that. So you will be asked as well. And we have a number of strikes that you have if you don't attend. Then so you have to, because it's also a way to also help you be there. So I have to read that chapter. And then it's weird, they say that sometimes I'm reading a book. That's Ignite. So it's Madam that picks the book for us, but then I'm also reading like another book for myself. So I read that in the afternoon. Then when I'm on my way home, I listen to the audiobook. Then when I get home, right before I sleep, that's my favorite time of the night, like the day, right before I sleep, I'm reading something that excites me. Either John Grisham, Sidney Sheldon, so I sleep with my imagination. So yeah, that's my structure.
But how do you manage that? I mean, how do you balance that with social media? Because ordinarily people will be on their phone and probably sleep off with their phone in hand. But
so,
you do,
like I say, I have a structure. Even with social media, I have a structure. So even if I'm on, I open my TikTok right now, after 30 minutes, it pops up that your time is up for TikTok. Like, so that's the number of minutes I spend on TikTok.
I see.
It's up, so I have to close the app, or I have to do snooze. Let me try again, but I'm disciplined. I don't do snooze. If it pops up, I'm done for the day. So I have like my brother always asks me how I do. I have like one time checking for social media, my Facebook, my LinkedIn. Maybe it's because I'm not so interested in that, but I'm trying to build it up, because it also helps influences people to know what you're reading, what you will read and all that. Because at least I have about 7K followers. I know it's not bad, but I try to just check once. So LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, once a day at different times. So if this morning I check TikTok, if I want to post something, I've posted it. Until tomorrow, I don't open TikTok again. If it's a day, I go live once a week. So if it's that time, I go live, and I want to use for 30 minutes. If it's up, it's up. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's because I have the structure from my upbringing, but I feel like she said you make time for things that are important to you. And I've realized a lot of things are important to me. So I have to do all. Like, I want to have fun. I want to be a valedictorian. I want to do, so I have to make time for all and make sure that they are all in moderation. So I have that structure put out, and I'm trying to stay. And so far, so good. But of course, they are human. There are days that you just don't feel like it. So if it's off, I can just put my phone off and I'm there. There are days that I see my book, sometimes ovulation or your hormonal stuff, and then it's fine. So those days are okay. They're like cheat days. But as a structure, I have a structure. I don't have a pick a book a day and find a way. Nah. So yeah.
How about you, Eric?
Yeah, so for me, sometimes I sit down and I smile, because I'm from a difficult background, from family community, where from school you have to be in a farm. From farm, you eat around 10 p.m. before you get to bed. So I don't even know how I develop the reading habit. But currently, with my exposure as a lecturer and a research officer, I deal with book. I sleep with book. I work with book. Because if you don't read, you'll not be able. You are leading students for future development. So if you are not able to give them anything better, then you know that the future human resource development is in jeopardy.
That's true.
And then also with the research field, you must be able to read, navigate yourself around new findings, and then to be able to help people to understand what is happening around them. And then also those that you help with your research work to be able to also deliver. So reading to me when I'm driving, even in the traffic, you see me on my phone, I'm not doing it, I'm reading. In the house, that is one of the problems I have with my wife. That is one of the serious problems I have with my wife. So any complaint that my wife will give in the house is about me being on my phone or reading too much. And my laptop. It's something I have done over and over and over and over. That is now part and parcel of me. Wherever I sit, I'm on my phone reading. I mean, so Facebook, when you see me on Facebook, I post on Facebook once every week. That is just to encourage people. But when you see me with my phone, I'm reading PDF materials. I am in the library platform reading journals, articles. So it is something that, so when you cultivate that habit, I'm telling you, you can overdo it and then it can also affect you. And that is me, reading every blessed day. So going to the classroom, I have to read before I get there. It's not that you go and get there and a student will ask you a question that you'll be fumbling yourself.
Right.
So our smartphones are not just for pictures. People have to know our smartphones are not just for pictures. Our smartphones will help us. And you know, one thing that also help is this AI introduction, explosion of AI.
It has helped.
That one of the things helping.
Okay.
With reading materials.
With reading materials. You see, I was saying 3 days ago that Ghana, we have to rethink our education. People are thinking that AI has come to spoil our academics, but it is time we rather introduce our students to AI. We train them about academic integrity. There are certain things I don't ask people again. If I want to do something, I ask AI, how do I go about this? AI will tell you how to go. Going ahead to do all these things, AI will also help you to read a lot. So I think it's just, the key word is discipline. The key word is to have it in mind that I am reading 3 books a month. And some churches are also helping, which is good. That have also forced some of us to read. Every day they give you a Bible quotation for us to, maybe the one that within this month finish this chapter. When you go for evening service and go, you are asked to share whatever you have learned from it. I think that one is also helping some of us to read a lot. To read a lot. I think those are some of the few things that I want to share.
All right, 23 to the top of the hour, and this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitra Vihing, and what you can do to be an avid reader like my guests in the studio. And I'm speaking to Amber. Amber is she is a co-creator of Bibliophiles and Vibes Book Club, and Martina is a founder of Martina Cares, and Eric Kwajogota is a PhD candidate at the University of South Africa. He's also a lecturer, research assistant, and info scientist. And these are the individuals helping me to have this conversation. If you want to drop a comment, you want to ask a question, please feel free to text us on 0544 321019, 0544 321019. Or you can call us on 030395661, 030395661, or engage us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. And we'll do well to respond to your comments, or maybe I get my guests to answer some of your questions. Right. Okay, now we're trying to wrap up. You want to say something?
The AI comment he made.
Right, sure.
Amber is thinking what I'm thinking. So, you know, like when you're graduating from school, you have to clear yourself before you go for the gown and all that. Yeah. And then the library is part. You have to go to the librarian to sign off and all that. So our time, we went there. I mean, those who were there, it was just fast. They left. So I was like, why? So I asked the librarian. He was like, oh, no. So like about all the 50 people that I met there, none of them had come to the library throughout our 12 months of the master's program. A master's program. You are there because you visit the library, and then I feel like the AI is part, because people don't feel like they can just go and ask it something, and then it just, so I feel like if they don't use it in moderation, I don't like it, because the library is there for a reason, and by all means, there's something that is in that book that the AI, because the reason why I don't like ChatGPT thing, after giving you the answer, it writes under that ChatGPT might be wrong. Like, how? If you're wrong, then why are you giving me the answer? You get it? So I feel like it was very sad for me that throughout all the 50 people, or even more that I met in the library, they had not passed through the library even once in our master's program, which was quite sad for me. So we have to do more with our educational system, because the libraries are there. So now how do we now get a student to go and sit down and use the books?
So what I actually do with my students, what I try to do with them is that I ask them to go and download articles, then analyze the article and come and do presentation in class. That is one thing I do. And I also ask them, when they get to the library, I want to see a picture of them on the school, their student platform.
So picture they can take it.
They can just go and take and leave.
So I have even I spoke to the librarians there that anytime my students come there, they should let me know. So they know. I told them that it's part of their continual assessment.
Good effort.
Yes, but with the you see what I was trying to say with the AI matter is that you see we are making it look as if it's a wish.
Oh no! So we just use it in moderation. Is what I'm saying.
It's a witchcraft coming to enhance our education system. Right. And then I'm saying that we have to introduce our students by telling them how they should use it.
So if you people like it so much, why then do you also create an app that can detect answers from like ChatGPT? Like
that is why I'm talking about academic integrity. That you are taught how to use it so that you don't fall prey to whatever.
But I think we'll get there.
Yes, gradually we get
our
there.
government should also invest in libraries. Look, most of the libraries that we have now, when you go, even the books over there are 1974 books that our grandfathers used. So if government have interest that Ghanaians should read, government should also find a way of getting not any book, correct books that will help the student develop mentally and then personal growth. If they are there, I think they will do. Communities also have a role to play. Community centers. They can organize the children and then show them some educative movies and then also organize some reading in the community. Look, yes.
Some NGOs I volunteer with, they have community centers that have a library session and
where
trying to
I am
do
coming
that.
from, if you don't know, you speak anyhow. The next moment, elderlies in the community will invite you to come and answer questions. You finish JHS. So after SHS, a lot of guys have to run away from the village because they have a lot of questions to answer. Yes. And always they monitor our progress of learning. And that is the community I come from. So currently, 90% of the youth in the village, if nobody is having anything at all, ask for teacher diploma, they have it. So that is one of the things that help our community. Yeah.
That's doing. All right. So you're speaking to government and so community centers.
Yes.
Let's also talk about schools. I know we've said some of those things here and there, but let's be specific. You are in the space. You run a book club. Which organization are you calling on? What should they do? And
I think for me, it would most importantly be the Ghana Writers Association.
Okay.
I think people should be writing more. Our stories need to be heard. Like sometimes people don't see themselves in books, and so that is why some people are not reading. And so he mentioned the government. I think that is very valid. I think the Writers Associations, definitely. And I think also like youth organizations, because like a lot of young people coming together. Are you organizing like sessions for them, maybe a book once a month or a book once every quarter? Right. It doesn't have to be like I'm not exactly big on like the volume. It's the quality of the books they are reading. So if you can read at least one book a year, even if it's one book a year and it's a very good book you're reading, so far as you're making efforts towards it. So yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Of course. Martina, which organizations are you calling on?
I would speak to NGOs that are already trying to do, stock community centers with books and orphanages and all that. They should try and add reading sessions to spend a day with me and all that. And I also call on family. Mine will be family because they are our safe space. They are where we spend more time. They are where we pick up a lot of traits. So I also speak to mothers and fathers and older brothers to help the younger ones actually cultivate the art of reading. Yeah, so it will be the NGOs because government has already been mentioned. So NGOs, family and friends. Yeah.
Right. Okay. A very, very major thing when it comes to reading is finishing books. People start and they never finish.
Yeah.
How do you guys do it? Is it something that we must do? Does it mean that every book I pick, I have to finish reading it? Or I can just read bits and pieces and I'm still reading? What is the ideal way to go about it, Amber?
Okay. So I don't think you have to finish every book you read. Like it's like watching a movie. If you're not enjoying it, why force yourself to finish?
I think Eric disagrees, or you don't disagree.
So that is what I wanted to say, and she has mentioned it.
Yeah, because I like if you're eating food and you don't like it, do you force yourself to finish it? Unless maybe like there are reasons why you have to, but I don't think you have to force yourself. Because for me, when I do that, I get slumped. So like I can go for maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and I don't feel like reading anything because I forced myself to read something that I wasn't enjoying. And so that is why it goes back to the point I made earlier on finding the things that you enjoy, because I mean, you're doing it for yourself.
Right.
Don't force yourself to finish books, because that is what happens, and then people end up not reading anymore because they're not enjoying the things they're
But
reading.
it's I don't think it's just about you enjoying or not. There are people that just can't follow through. They even enjoy the book, but they can't follow through to the end.
So I believe that depends. So if it's in academic achievement, it's a book you have to finish. Yeah, so I think the context also helps here. And also if it's just for fun, like she's saying, it can be one book a year. Like there's no rush. So when you feel like taking a break, just take it. That's why we have like maybe paper breakers. Just put the breaker there. When you feel like going back, you go back. So there's no rush. That is, if you need to finish the book, there's no rush. You can take years so far as it's a part of you and you come back to it. It's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine.
So as they have rightly said, I agree with them. You know, things fall apart. It's one of the storybooks I like reading a lot, because most of the time you learn a lot of new things from things fall apart, how communities, how Kunku and Co.
Social time.
And then, you know, this poem, I will pronounce your name Nayet. I will pronounce your name Nayet. In secondary school, that was when we were introduced to this poem.
Right.
Look, this poem slept with us, myself and my friends, live with us, because it helped us to navigate around some few things that I don't want to mention. So when you see the thing interesting, you go back for it over and over. But if you pick a material that is not interesting, that one, after, even you will not even finish one chapter before you put it somewhere. So it should be something that interests you, something that excites you, something that you want to, something that will force you want to know what happened at the end of it. Other than that, finishing a book, unless it's for academic achievement.
And I think also if you want to read, you can just check the blurb first. Usually, I'll read the blurb and to see if it gives me, an overview, if it's something I want to start, even before I start or even before I buy the book. Sometimes I even read the acknowledgement and who he's dedicated. Like I need to kind of feel what the context, because people are not telling our stories. They are not saying things we want to read or things that are resonating with us. So I read the blurb first and sometimes even check the acknowledgement before I buy the book or before I attempt. So it was hard for me to start a book and not finish because I actually chose that book by reading through.
Interesting. Amber, what do you do when you first pick a book?
So for me, like she reads blurbs. For me, I go into books blind.
Okay.
So maybe I have my auto-buy authors. Like authors, I would read anything from, but most of the times it's maybe a book club pick, but like the title, the cover. For me, I go into books blind, so I don't read a blurb. I don't know what the book is about. I just pick it and then get into it. So yeah.
I see.
I think most of the time the title also deceives us to do a lot of things. Anytime I'm traveling, maybe I'm not driving, I get to the station. You see these booksellers, they will come. Sometimes they will come and show the book title. You say, hey, this book will be good though. You buy it when the car is moving and you open to read. I say, you throw your money away. So sometimes you have to read the autobiography, read at least the abstract of the whole material to know what is inside. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't do. They just see the title and say, this one will be fine. And then so let me read. So once they buy and then there's nothing sensible inside the material, then they go and dump it somewhere. They don't even look for it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
when I pick up a book, so there are some books that the title doesn't match the content.
Yeah.
It's just So then I really don't know how I can go into a book blind. Like To Kill a Mockingbird. Like Moby Dick, like it doesn't really tell. So I will always read the blurb, and unless maybe sometimes it's a writer I love, like John Grisham, I'll read anything from John Grisham because he likes like the law level and all that exactly. But a lot I'll read the blurb, acknowledgement, and make sure because it has to be my reading interest. So that I'll enjoy it. Otherwise, nah.
Right. Okay. So we have like 4 minutes to go. Tell us, you like a lot of hard copy paperback.
Yeah.
Where do you get your books without giving free publicity? Tell us. I don't know if they are some.
Okay, I think it depends. Sometimes Amazon, like buying online.
Okay.
Maybe when a cousin or my auntie is coming to Ghana, they are always fighting with me. I literally make them pack. I buy plates, so they bring like a whole box.
Oh, okay.
Or sometimes so I think there are some Goodwill Samaritan persons that come around that some of the NGOs try to sell it for less, like a dollar store, right? Or I've even bought books in traffic. And I think now I like how they're even doing it. The people put their numbers on it. So now I have one customer that I met around the EcoBank in Accra because he put his sticker number on it, and now he's the one that gives me books. But then there's Sebastian too on Legon campus. He has like a mobile book truck that he goes from campus to campus. So he came to my campus one time, we connected, I went for an empowerment program in Legon, I saw him there, I was like, oh, okay, then we are plugged. So at least these two men, I get book if actually then he decides. So these three things, either online or these two men, that's why.
One piece of advice to anybody who wants to start reading.
Just start.
Okay, let me come to you.
So with me, normally I buy in traffic. And then also I buy in bookstore.
Right.
Then also I see booksellers on Facebook.
Okay.
So contacted them, and then they normally deliver books to my doorsteps. And then I also want to thank Apostle Emmanuel Eliamamaha, is chairman of the New Covenant Apostolic Church. You'll be there, and then he will send you materials to read by force.
Nice.
And then Apostle Dr. Frank Macavo, he will also. Every blessed day, he will flood your WhatsApp brains that are helping us to. And it got to a time I have to control myself because every month I have to spend part of my salary buying books. Then when they bring it, sometimes they'll bring it, then the guy will say that, okay, this one too is in stock. The title will just interest you. Sometimes you just finish paying $1,500 for a whole book in a month. I said, what? I have to stop. You come to my room, the shelf is just full of books and you can't even read everything. So I think it's good for people to start reading. When you start, you build some confidence, and you also start to advise people that for people to start reading. Yes.
Okay.
So reading is very good.
All right. Amber, where do you get your books?
Okay, so
you do a lot of soft copies. So the online platforms.
Well, yeah, but I mostly get books from. I buy a lot of books.
Okay.
So I buy from online bookstores. There are other in-person places I visit. I also use the Nancy library. So I think everyone should.
Okay. They sell.
Not sell. You can borrow. You have to pay for a subscription for the year, and then you get access to books. So Nancy library. And when people are visiting, coming to Ghana, and I get a lot of my friends I get access to the particular library's books online, and so that is how I get my books.
All right. Okay. So if there's a book you want to recommend to, some book you think somebody should read, mention it.
Someone Birth Them Broken by Ama Santo Adiaka.
Okay.
Wow. For me, you will do very much is the gods are not to blame.
Olaru Timi also.
Yes.
Why? Oh, I'm sorry.
Because the gods are not to be
I'm
blamed.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. No. Martina.
Can you tell us why? Do you mind? I'm sorry, but do you mind?
No, but it teaches a lot of things around our environment. We blame a lot of things on other people, but when you get into it, you know that your attitude, your character.
We'll talk after.
Okay. Martina, any book you want to recommend? One book. Yeah.
Okay, it will be Who Moved My Cheese, Spencer Johnson.
Right.
I think everybody should read that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for making time to speak to us today. I want you to put out your book club name, maybe if it's on social media, because it's free. People just to encourage people to read.
So on Instagram is bibliofiles.vibes. So BIBLIOPHILES.vibes, VIBES on Instagram. So you'll find us.
All right. Okay. So thank you very much for making time to speak to us today. We're so grateful that you came. So Amber is the co-creator of Bibliophiles and Vibes Book Club, and Martina is the founder of Martina Cares, and Eric is a PhD candidate at the University of South Africa. He's a lecturer, a research assistant, and an info scientist. Thank you very much for insights. And for you listening, thank you very much for joining us for this all-important conversation on how to adopt the culture of reading. A big thank you to once again to our amazing guests for sharing their personal journeys, their practical tips, and deep insights. If there's one thing we are leaving with you today, it's that reading isn't just an academic activity. It's something. It's a lifestyle that shapes our worldview. It also shapes our minds and expands the kinds of things that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. So it also empowers us to grow. Whether you start with 1 page a day or you do 5 minutes like Amber, just start in Martina's voice. Right. So thank you very much. Let's... Right. Okay, you can also check out Ignite. Just a habit, but a culture we live by. Until next time, please keep turning the pages. Your next breakthrough could be in the next book you read. My name is Nichwebi Hammond. We're back again tomorrow. We know it's a holiday, but we're bringing you the holiday edition of the Business Breakfast on Zed. So see you tomorrow. When you think Ghana, think Zed.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.